Alright, I'm seeing my movie be aquaba. Na me for Mega TV and platform way so. Yuguswa S7 with the best news ever. Na ene me nkwati a ensem bi circulate. Na akwai si dua batabo ni twa na. In fact, dua we die ye bitwa na bo no agina yie. Ni na ne sem yewura Otumfour ose tutu nana oti kokoso bi bomi mu ase edema. Oni World Bank Vice President Asia. Na ensema owura no editu edwa no. Ye nana editu edwa no sebi. Ya asema etwetwe aso kakra. Me ameti hei mega menti ase se nana itimi kasa saa. Sebi menti ase no na nyi se me nana me di so be no anase nana sebi me didi na tem na mom to my knowledge no me ne nana nya adwen ni na ne se ye nana Otumfour se tutu oti kokoso nana me bomi mu ase wakwa na me kasa yi o se aban a etiso yi onji omu ni enti no any social contract bia no oni the vice president of World Bank no eko edinsa hoso se be ya social intervention bia no ono nana no obenya through the World Bank support omo de be ma no na nkomo yi beka abontin enkofo twetwe na asre ne abasa bisase nana Akufo-Addo atena kurom ha for 8 good years. Akufo-Addo atena Ghana yenso for 8 good years yanti wanum kasa ada. And now Akufo-Addo free yenso 5 days getting to 6 days die. Na otwinya mayo. Last week yana yewra John de Mahama mudini siso. Ensema na washa ase kan die sebi woni Mahama endini ye. And we are not being fair to President John Dramani Mahama. Ensem no de emu ahye. Na yenko tie fa kese na emfamfiri Free Mind Family. Ye chairman Freeman. Owura we so bo adwuma papa. Me fa credit na eman chairman Freeman. Na yenti ensem a okanifa ho na wutie ensem a oka. In fact, e bi dida na akwan so papa because ensem a okanu yi atem ne nima bi Freeman eda na akwan so yenkoti nsem kwekwa yekoba mega medima analysis ebeto so yen platform we eso yankopon enhiraw
for Western and Central Africa ne mpanimfo kopie mo menhia ekosra Otumfour seitu eno krampo no I see no reason why e was say a whole World Bank Vice President menhia ekosra Otumfour say World Bank Vice President no e di etwa kana oni Otumfour wo Otumfour onye mampani onye Vice President oni abemu enti say a whole World Bank Vice President menhia ekopie mu eye Otumfour na ase a I see no reason why I was say dey nkrampo esi because any America no Otumfour Ghana resources eni ninsa enye Otumfour na air control Ghana in the say World Bank Vice President bitwa na mo akopie mu menhia no ho krampo no me so bi samia me dwen ho amenti ase but yemfa ni saa onkopie mu ho no e na wo mu ni Otumfour di nkombo a na ja Otumfour si mu pikan say as you can see Mamenka mamo or say I cannot depend on the politicians for my development. TNA pa or say I don't want to depend on them. So let's have a social contract and then we do it. Asante hini to the World Bank Vice President for Western and Central Africa. Or say I cannot depend on the politicians. So let's so let's have a social contract and then we do it. Social contract to do what? There you Otumfour nyamampani Ghana enhye Otumfour nsa enisa World Bank Vice President minim ayonkofa eda oni Otumfour ntamunti a otua na moko menhia na Otumfour say to ka che ne say menye mempanifo ni Ghana mpanifo eye Mahama ho asem na woka because ele Mahama na mampani because under NPP aban Ekufuado aban Otumfour ankasa asɛm wei Mahama bay ya 5 days here new na Otumfour kyerɛ sɛ me depend on Ghana mpanimfoɔ eti menemo enya a social contract na yenye dean ɛdeɛ na ɔba bɛyɛ there be ɔbɛ dean ya eti yen have a social contract na yenye let's do it. What does he want to do? Tie Odiebra ebia na wadwen ye say oh we die bia daily graphic for na epe cloud tunti na bia ya throw caption bi huhuhu yen hwe video no mo we maso na muntie Otumfour enu mu nsɛm ni yi na yen to asomfri ho
ones are all university graduates and others here.
Young.
We have the University producing all these students and all those things. So, in terms of development, if we have the infrastructure, then everything will be fine. I cannot depend on the politicians for my development. I don't want to depend on them. So let's have a social contract and then we do it.
Young.
Mr. President, so this is something that I want us to look closely and then do it. I don't know the team, but I want to meet.
Enti samuti ya Otumfour kyerɛ sɛ mentimi entraste ye mpanimfoɔ ni biem for asanteman puntu. So let's have a social contract so that we do it. Now, question me bisa me hone say to do what ankasa. Na sebi Ghana resources no. Eni Otumfour nsa. Edi idea leverage eni Otumfour wo. Egudie ben resources ben. Ena Otumfour de ko puntuo from the World Bank ama santeman as who? Debut as wanya. I want to understand. As why? Now, question ba ko a yensem bisa ne say, efri da ben na Otumfour sha ase hu say ontimi depend on Ghana mpanimfoɔ so biem. Efri da ben. Yemisa no. Say Otumfour efri da ben. And now sha ase hu say ontimi depend on Ghana mpanimfoɔ so biem. Efri da ben because for the past 8 years in the onkasa same way. Yes. Ekufuado aban ba ye onyamfie wotwe katia phase 2 wani twa wansiesie Seria ya asabia wani twa wantime complete Afari aya asabia wani twa wantime complete empo konfa no che sei ubo dwa kire sei ohia $10 million akosiesie Ekufuado anka word ba omia anka word nachi wa ma bonten akasa asem we sei mentimi fa mani nto Ghana mpanimfo so biem enti efri da ben ena Otumfour da ye so ho da ye say ontimi mfa asantim puntuo enhye empanimfo ensa biemu nti no one World Bank fo konya social contract. Let us do it and do what? Debut aban na onu nya mfie wotwiketi a phase 2 ya mutu afari eyi konfanoche Swami interchange ene hwanhwa nyina asantememu Otumfour dina Kumase eche Ghana fo dina se penimpo eto form wo Kumase awote eti we ya ekoso na Otumfour was aware one can word Otumfour had no problem with it ema empo Ekufuado call Otumfour na se baomia call Otumfour na se Otumfour kyerɛ sɛ wahira baomia John Dramani Mahama call ye no oka kyerɛ ne sɛ ai Ghana for the ekom ani bre ena tuti a wonti no me Mahama kan kyerɛ me go and tell the people eduma why dia boa Ghana for nti a yensa nto abama. These were the words of Otumfour. Okache Mahama se enyeme. Ghana for the ekom any brena etutiao inti ene so wa asem kan kokache Ghana for enyeme. These were the words of Otumfour to John Dramani Mahama the president. Ene Mahama ba Mahama di mfie 9 na esi keti a phase 1 Otumfour yawe. Mahama di mfie 9 na esi eye Kumase airport phase 1 Otumfour yawe. Mahama di mfie 9 enesi afari konongwa ya asabia fomina ya asabia bekwa ya asabia eye kumewu aya asabia kumewu water project hwan we nyina akire no Mahama di mfie na eye senma we nyina enesa Mahama na sa babiemu a Otumfour kyerɛ sɛ an on the World Bank for in social contract because ontime fa asantim puntu enhye yempanimfo nsa biem sabi ya na sɛ Otumfour bo sa bra we na sɛ wo kasa na se wa anye careful ubedi na tem because this is broad daylight hypocrisy. Ye kan nyatum na ye ka ho asem na eni o Mahama aba ena enumpe 5 days pe Mahama ho afuno Otumfour tio Mahama nanu ya anu oba 1 week mpo onyaye Mahama ho afuno Otumfour amene Otumfour kire se an ontime mfa Asante mpuntuo enhye ye mpanimfo nsa biem on truste wo mo nanso under Akufo-Addo 8 years on truste no believe you me say sasem we ya Otumfour eken senke Akufo-Addo na eye mampani anka onka da, and this is the painful fact. Believe you and I on say ya na ye kana say Asantefo binom eye overly emotional kam wasemu amasa enye wonko na wa asantini na tie me ha. Sasem we ya Otumfour say tu ken ekoye under Akufo-Addo anka onka, because 8 years under Akufo-Addo it was much more worse. Ebonanu ya John Dramani Mahama baye 5 days under John Dramani Mahama a far better chain 8 years under Akufo-Addo any baomia. Now so throughout the 8 years man say Otumfour can sasem way da. And then Mahama ba suddenly no Otumfour nya no esa kasa under Akufo-Addo Otumfour yedin Akufo-Addo ekopiemo kumase eka kire kwa abrefo se mo kwan no of course meye na so se ebia me kan say mufi say menye ye ntimonto aba emamia emu akasa masemwa Otumfour saw nothing wrong with it. Captain Smart eka kire Ghana for say $10 million na Otumfour says say or the kosiesie no onya sika no bi e de crat house efra brochira ebedu tema porta NPP aban says sizi kire say when twa hu duty ayam pene kra mane nkle Otumfour anka ho asem. For the past 8 years nyambra semu akoso yenti obia enkwasi asem ene ejimi semu akoso wa Asantememu. Otumfour saw nothing wrong because na eye NPP abayiti suddenly Mahama eba ye no afe na Otumfour ada enyane amba Akufo-Addo na wada eti odie yemfa ne se wante nia na ekoso Mahama eba ye de afe de ni volume no e free system num Otumfour nyane enya ano etimi kasa kire se mintimi mfa Asante mpuntuo enhye Ghana mpanimfo nsa biemu nti no mene World Bank for let us go into social contracts. Let us go into social contracts for us to do it. To do what? As why? As mampani obra Asante enene ho Asante she Ghana ase Asante she Mahama ase or import meet na kumase menhia kire say many World Bank for let us go into social contract to do it. To do what? As who? Akonya be na wote so oye mampani constitution be na wode ye adwuma sebi you want to go into social contract debut yemisa Otumfour say ne central bank when ya or ne World Bank for go into social contract to do it. The central bank way ne currency way ne flag way just say onu ankasa masa na Asante flag it and flag of Ghana na Asante flag it e Ghana flag asio tie enti say Otumfour e kan sa asem we akwahia me bisa Otumfour ne say akonya be no wote so in whose capacity and Otumfour de ka sa asem we enya brody be ye enya nkwasi asem eni sebi yo Ghana for binumu a eni mu nyansa sa asem we nko say ye chi Otumfour for treason. Believe you me or maybe a timemufo no enye overly emotional about pia ni jimia sa asem ya Otumfour kan be say nko say ye chi Otumfour for treason, because asem ya okay onye mampani ye nso e we in which capacity. And I would just say, let us go into social contracts because men trust yen penny for say, may they Asante mpuntuo share omunsa. Na sebi Asante mpuntuo ya odia. Hede bio Asante mpuntuo ya odia. Eye wasede. So siesi Asantememu. Debi. Wono adia Otumfour betimi aye de agbo kumase mande say royalties na wogie no ubetimi ayusu bi de agbo. Apart from that, it ends there. Onye mampani wonye Asante mampani oye traditional leader enti no edie tumi na ekura Otumfour a odidi sanyam brasem no edie tumi no anya a sebi otina konya so kire say World Bank for say let us go into social contracts. I don't get it. Mentiasie as wine o current currency way, wo central bank way, army, wasrafo anase, wasojafo way, police for way. Ghana penifo na ebo ho ban. John Dramani Mahama, NDC aban, ena ebo ho ban. Ghana sojafo, ena ebo ho ban. Ghana police for, ena guard menhia. So how can you wake up and say, many World Bank for no, let us go into social contract. Now, just say, wo te wasante no. Every Ghana mu anase, what does he want to achieve? I want to understand. Say, Otumfour no, or Tina Santino. Every Ghana mu anase, what does he want to achieve? Mahama ba. Yenshe nyumanu biya John Dramani Mahama eye. As you can see, and I read or say, President Mahama directs Lands Commission to halt the sale of state lands and provide a report on all recent transactions involving public lands within 14 days. In 5 days, people, yeka enuma John Dramani Mahama enye binye. These are the steps that Mahama taking. These are the initiatives that John Dramani Mahama taking. Mahama about 5 days pe enuma say na Mahama Now so Otumfour to watch say on trusting Mahama, but in simple terms, this is what he wants to me. Or Patrick Ghana for say he doesn't trust Mahama by ultimate trust it Mahama by NDC by say or the Asantim Puntuo Esha Wonsa. Now so they say Mahama by no sebi you Otumfour say ultimate for Asantim Puntuo Esha Ninsano. They say Mahama by and I didn't feel nice Katia Fis 1. They say Mahama buying and I didn't fear nice Katia phase 2 yet me what buying by 8 years ni yet me uncle home Otumfour Kasai or Ghana or Tigana ha the nitria on Ka Wasem. A dear brody bayini. When I cow can say one careful Obekasetiano, yes ye, Akrano and Umwa dear and on the social media who didn't penny for them and who did on yam peno crow or Ghana ha. Oh yes, sebi or hine or Ghana ha on chain Ghana bra. Ghana constitution, President Tempo Eshasiye, nobody is above the laws of Ghana. It made the say, Akonya Bena Otumfour te swa or they say, or the World Bank for to go into social contracts, or parliament way, or chief justice way, or court way, police way, military way, or bank way, or currency way. Kwasi Asɛm say yaw. Mrs. Wanya careful, wanu betiano. Otumfour no or ya de bi na se wo ka na se wa anye careful wano betia no ade na mo mpa no kresa Mahama about 5 days pe suddenly Otumfour timi kasa Ekufo do 8 years etu amena $58 million Otumfour kasa eche Ghana for say watan $48 million edi ate odo river nom ebesi ne aye fibo che kani Otumfour ankasa Katia phase 2 8 years ni yenko ho Otumfour ankasa asantememu eye Kumasi dwadifo ma etiemu inya ba bi ntina o race course o ye pamye ni o Otumfour ti wanyina watimi ankasa konfo aroche Otumfour bodwa say ohia $10 million eni wusem say Otumfour ankasa adwuma sebi enye na sede Otumfour che say ohia $10 million akosiesie. He saw nothing wrong. Ekufo anka ho asem ba omi anka ho asem where omo anka ho asem da. Suddenly the Mahama ba Otumfour now see say I mean for Asantim Puntuo Esha Ghana penifo nsa as who. Na sebi you Kumasi for no ye twa to ba Otumfour eto na wankasa wonko for Asante for Adriano. Does it come to you and I say it goes to the central government ekwa hifa. Now what's na menhia actually say I men trust say me de Asante Puntuo Esha Ghana penifo nsa kwasi asem ni sebi you en kwasi asem ni. You see why I keep telling you people, say, one of the biggest problems in Ghana is Otumfour. I keep telling you people, say, one of the biggest problems are Omuti Ghana is Otumfour or your problem. Or henia on canocre, or henia on penocre, or henia say, not my back, not say, she Ghana poor, he has no problem. na banba na say yensie kuma simple he has no problem. Mahama about 5 days per now Otumfour suddenly has a problem because when nyane from coma. Otumfour enyane from coma and who say hey okay say na mada Mahama ba dia and ye mint me fa asante mpuntu onhye Mahama nsa enkwase asem say ha na say anda ekufado de na wada anamebua. At that time he was in coma. Suddenly no Otumfour nyane and who say oh okay and de why name ampani ama ne mpani fo acha ne say Mahama ne bo Mahama de mint me fa asante mpuntu onhye ne nsenti no. Let me go and see the World Bank and tell them say let us go into social contract as why o de there na air course social contract no. Otumfour de there and na air course social contract no. Yet Ghana ha nyambrasem enkwasiasem na obia ye din ye ntime nka edientia unya koboso pe hey wakasa tia menhia ena Otumfour betwa dwan ena de enkwasiasem maza 4 years na eda ye nimu no ye ntra Ghana ha ema kwasiampani bi anto pressure ema John Dramani Mahama. I've told you people say yentra social media ha ema kwasiampani bi anto kwasia pressure nso Mahama enkuni kwasia kumo munyai Mahama onye na juma. Mahama knows exactly nia oye emo bi anto kwasia pressure bi ama no yemfo aso wa ha yenso somoso umpo yentwe. I mean, how dare you? Say man penity o na ohene kire say many World Bank for we are going into social contract because me fact me regi empuntuo enhye central government insa. Now de ho onka Ghana ho onhye Ghana ase kokoti sem sei kokoti sem e na aka manhia Otumfour kokoti sem asiasem kwa what is asem we bi we there bio e krobeso e na what is asem we bi say ohini bi kire say me live the progress of my region in the hands of the central government because I don't trust them. I mean krobeso no betibi krobeso o my baby anya Ghana ehefa na sasem we anya Otumfour na ebeka ohini ben Ghana nche onka we da Tobia fede onka we da Yabo wura onka we da ya na onka we da anya Otumfour hwan ono pe kwa abota ajiman kwa abota fa wasante fa edie tuno ni edie nyam kwa abotei fa wasante nare fa asante ne fa uwu afako Otumfour was me say wasante uwu afako fa kwa asamado edie ni edie sheshe ni edie tuno ni men traso a mekansem believe you me men traso a mekamanatra men traso a mekansem amanatra edie what is it edie time na say ye time Mahama time bi bia edie ya papai time wana onye mampani ye tano wabe mampani nso a yeguso a ye tano edie asem edie 5 days pe Mahama ba ye me say 1 week mpo onya ye edie asem wa edie kaka binsem kwa kaka binsem hey
ewie enti we yensem a chairman Free Mind Family konako follow no e YouTube ko subscribe to the channel no e Free Mind Family ensem a odi tu edwa eno no na uti ensem a Free Mind dey kana. In fact apart from say ni buofo person odi atem ene ebufu ahye na koma so manti no o se ensem na okika no sebi nyansa wompa but atem na ewom no ene sebi me megamenti ase. But yemfa atem to nchen ye analyzing some chairman Freeman ekano utie nsem o kana no kore nana undi o hye Ghana se nana sebi uni police uni soldier uni wayi o flag or flag crown nana is a Ghana se new constitution or constitution cries a Ghana se ye bisa nana Akufo-Addo transfer for 8 good years di nansia no free so even Akufo-Addo pencil and I would now ye wa adwen se who is your Kumfanochi teaching hospital amumboa nesi nana beka ene kundwa mi miteso mi kasane se nana oka Akufo-Addo amfiu yewra John the Mani Mahama any NDC for binom eno moko donate sika edemaw how the years are project no but MPP for tena pinwa so ka kire mu say wan kasa oba Simon Osemensa Ashanti regional chairman regional minister ankane eka kire so sika ni ho no nti so mbeka so mbetimi aboa na yetro na mo mbehye bo minim se bono mo ahye no ene no mo di sa bol hye no ekodi so di I don't know nti dana ubie wa no na se bi se bi ebudu se bi nya ado okase unji politicians in here, then you could have said it on Akufo-Addo's era. And I say in Akufo-Addo's era, I'm young Zampa, Nana, what kind of quarry? Na Nansia, yes, sir, a bicy sign. Nana, now can say Asɛm na, and the perception uncle for was it, the notion uncle for was it. Asante my MP John the Mani Mahama Asɛm no na AI and quarry. Yana no Otumfour, Nana, Wakua, I mean, Sidan Kakakra. Sira wada Ghana eni ntitimu nti so kasa Asante man kwa no open social media social intervention sebi what are you telling Ghanaians regions na kan so kasa omo pe omo de tribe na kan kasa omo pe omo de wo hin ene be friend Ghana no bibisew Ghana so unity we unifier ye penkam bom nana ye sira saadi na okan ne de adabraka emu binom ye bonju so because Ghana na yetie no yeni kwakudie yeni amade yin na ye Ghana for ama Asɛm ba e wo se kan se ama kwaku Asɛm ba wo se kan se kwaku eni kwa so ka bidie kakra na ko ka bidie ketwa e basa eye mpapa mu eye ntitimu eye hypocrisy at its highest peak bidie pa se na Otumfour hwe na Asɛm o ka yi sebi nyaado empemfo afre no ene ne kasa because e basa na you have demonstrated to the whole world say umpe Mahama Asɛm because na sinya na yedi papa ibisi so o sha say 3 days adwuma ye kra no e chen Akufo-Addo the first time award bet na so na the second time you buy minka say ni 8 years ni na but the second time you buy adwuma Mahama asha say e bono within 3 days ni enye adwuma ketwa nti say wo yesa na so kasa Asɛm na then you are not being fair to John the Mani Mahama yana na yesra ko na Asɛm bra bio mido bibi ase minim se nse mama kan anyway we dey yento aso yenko ensem foforo mo yewura Martin Pegbu lawyer se munim se oka owura team ne ho operation cover all out no odi mutinti my papa obo kugita black asene eni yewura Martin middle name Richmond Archer eni yewura COP Kofi Boache no in fact omo boy djuma na omo se enche sisira brother pa the report no the case no in a few months no in fact ense bibi PP mapa na Ghana for any beji sema Mrs. brother pa ye dey want to be good in say ye jedi no for only 6 months pay na ye jisika na we wie ni na dey project dey didi na bo ho sisira da pa stolen money project what you say nka Ghana ye ni age ni ye proud enye sa omai we enko yeda enko ti sanse no kwad emfabra de koba na kina ebeto aso yeguso a S7 with the authentic news ever hanom e negative nyankopon e hirehira obibia kwad yenti nse no emfabra koba na kina ebeto aso
Mahama during the inauguration earlier in the week. If you're just joining us, this is Key Point. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and a number of radio stations across the country. You hear President John Mahama talk about the country moving from crisis to crisis, and also what we are faced with right now as a people. About a week ago, the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, talked about the economic strides and then, in fact, the health of this economy that he is leaving behind for John Dramani Mahama. He says he's leaving a Ghana that is working, and then also an economy that is doing well. But there are many who have pointed to the outcome of the 2024 elections as a verdict of the Ghanaian people on the state of the economy. Because going into that election, the economy was the most important issue for the many voters who went out there to vote, as was revealed by surveys and polls by Global Info Analytics, the NCC, Afrobarometer survey, all pointing to the economy. So what is the real state of affairs? We're going to put it out there for you to see. And the recovery that we are also recording and experiencing as a country, at what cost did it come, especially to the Ghanaian people? And how is the next 12 months going to look like, as John Mahama has hit the ground running, nominating his finance minister already, as was widely speculated, Dr. Kesela Toforcing, shouldering that singular responsibility of resetting the economy, as John Mahama promised. But we are getting into a fiscal year, or we are in a fiscal year that we're going to start servicing our external debts, which takes over 50% of our domestic revenue. We're going to start paying our debts. How much will be left of us if this administration is going to borrow? From the financial analyst perspective, what are some of the conditionalities they should be pushing for? It certainly wouldn't come for free. We have seen the impact of the conditionalities of some of the loans that we have taken and how it has impacted on us as a people. That is the conversation we're going to be having this morning. The Operation Recover All Loot also have a role to play, because already we understand that the money that they will retrieve is supposed to be used for economic development. But what have they done so far? One of the members of the team will be joining us in a bit. But joining me in studio is Joe Jackson. He's a member of, in fact, he's the CEO of Dalex Finance, and also a financial analyst with international repute. Mr. Joe Jackson, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. I wonder, when you said member, I was only member of which one?
You are soon to be a member.
But good to be here.
Anyway, it's good to have you, as always. And also joining me is the Honorable Edward Bauer, is a former member of parliament for the Bongo constituency, but also is a member of the committee that, on energy and natural resources that was set up, or has been set up, by the John Mahama administration to look into the state of affairs of the energy sector handed over to this administration and what the way forward would look like. He's not new to the energy ministry, as a matter of fact. He was a member of the Mines and Energy Committee of the 8th Parliament, so he understands the workings of this particular sector that we're talking about. Honorable Edward Bauer, good morning, welcome.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's good to have you. Let me also, in a bit, Professor Ransford Jampo, is a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Legon, is going to be joining us. Also, Martin Pebu, who's a private legal practitioner and a member of the Operation Recover All Loot preparatory team. He will also be joining us. And then we'll have a conversation on this. And Yapiakubi, who is a former member of parliament for the Santiachim North constituency as well, will be joining us this morning. But Mr. Jackson, I was having a conversation with you earlier. You indicated that if John Mahama is able to recover, really identify, confirm, prosecute, and recover loot, it will be enough for him. Ghanaians will be happy and satisfied with him. What exactly do you mean by that?
Listen, I think there will be general agreement that corruption has been the bane of this country for a long time. And corruption, in a lot of ways, all our challenges, right, are exaggerated by corruption. The estimates that we lose up to 40% of all we spend on anything, infrastructure, consumption, whatever, it goes away with corruption. So if the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, can recover loot, then he has struck the first proper blow against corruption in this country. And that will make a significant difference. That will make Ghanaians feel that, and if remember that if he did nothing else at all, but gave us a sense that he had fought corruption, then he would have a legacy to leave. Because our economic challenges are all exaggerated. The corruption is the catalyst. Corruption is the big problem. So when we talk about Operation Recover All Loot, it's really that huge blow against corruption. It serves two purposes. It serves to recover, of course, the loot from the previous government, if it can be proven that they have taken any loot. And best of all, it also gives an indication to the incoming appointees that you better behave properly. Otherwise, in another dispensation, they'll be recovering your loot. I'm happy to say I'm a big supporter of Operation Recover All Loot. I'm a big supporter of it. We need something different in our fight against corruption in this country. And so that's why I say, if he does that, succeeds at that, his legacy will be cemented.
I say, but what do you say to those who raise issues about that approach, that it has no legal foundation, and it's just meant to hound the previous administration, essence in there? It's going to be used as a weapon of vendetta and so on.
My opinion is that we shouldn't even seek to jail anybody. Just bring the cash. Let's use alternate dispute resolution approach. Listen, going to the court will tie us up for years and years and won't serve any purpose. We have the evidence of the cases that are still in court now, some for over 8 years, and nothing has happened. Let's just recover the loot. That's what it says, recover the loot. It doesn't say Operation Jail somebody. I believe let's recover it. There are examples from other jurisdictions, from Saudi Arabia, from Nigeria, where they recovered the loot. Let's recover the loot. It's the money we want. Listen, if we attempt to jail, suppose I had the opportunity to take some loot away. The moment you try and jail me, my chief will appear. My hometown youth group will appear. My church will stand by me, and it will go on and on and on and on. Let's negotiate. Let's recover the loot. Let's move on.
Well, I don't know if the member of this Operation Recover All Loot preparatory team will agree with you. He's a private legal practitioner. Lawyer Martin People, I mentioned earlier, is going to be joining us. Good morning, Counsel. Welcome. Mr. Jackson is that focus on the loot and leave the prosecution. But then again, you would also understand why some would disagree, because there has to be a deterrent. If it was just about taking money that had been allegedly stolen and not punish the people who stole them, what would deter anybody from stealing money? Counsel.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Counsel, a brief greeting to the usual constituents.
As expected.
So today we'll use It Is Possible Radio People First, 38.2 FM.
In fact, that has been
It Is
corrected.
Possible Radio. Lebene Ahiabwen, Zion Farms, and the people on Facebook. Yes.
But because of the statement you made yesterday, the Electoral Commission put out some information about that 38.2.
Yeah. The beginning. I think the last time I watched, it was around 41 point.
41 point,
yes.
A little over 41%.
Exactly.
For Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Good.
Yeah.
But the first cycle, so you see, like I said, let's have some light movements. It can't always be crunching numbers like Joe Jackson, etc. Let's have light movements a bit. They've said it's 38.2 FM. It is possible radio, so at least.
Oh, no, I'm just saying now you can change the dial.
Okay, so we should make it 41 point something.
Just to reflect the information.
All right, no problem. So let me know about the people on Facebook, our supporters. They say let's change the frequency to 41 point something FM. Okay, all right. Yeah, so then, as usual, let's greet Garmanche. Garmanche has done a yeoman's job by standing up when a lot of chiefs were quiet. Garmanche says he's not resting until we get justice in the Sicily Adapa matter. And sure, thankfully, at least we're on the right path to that. I'm sure in the coming months we'll see what can be done. Ose Adeyo Ajimabedu II, Domahini, thank you for also standing up and talking about bad governance when most people were quiet. People's mouths were full. They said it is bad manners to talk whilst eating. So they were busy eating. Okay, now they finished eating. And Ghanaians have been what? Left short. So Chief Justice of Kufu.
And there will be doom so coming, so respect it.
A prophecy or a carefully calculated attempt. The sudden revelation of a looming energy crisis just hours after the new government took office has left many questioning the motives behind it. And this viral video of the MPP Deputy Communications Director, Ernest Owusu-Bempah, just days after the party's electoral defeat, has got tongues wagging.
Doomsday will be coming soon. There will be a lot of serious economic hardship coming soon. And I'm being prophet, I'm prophesying. Tell me, I'm prophesying.
Just a day after the inauguration of the new president, John Dramani Mahama, the country woke up to a shocking revelation. Only 5 hours of fuel left for electricity generation in the country.
Current stock available 225 cubic meters of light crude oil to last for 5 hours with AXA. On average, they require about 4 weeks to treat the fuel. That is when the fuel has landed in their tanks. Today is 8th, 20th, the pipeline will be shut. So even if you bring fuel today, you require those days to treat the fuel.
And while some are busy pointing accusing fingers, Ghanaians are simply not buying the idea of another era of doom so. And so government has set the ball rolling, organizing an emergency meeting to solve the problem. In this last-minute reprieve, government has negotiated a 2-week extension with the West African gas pipeline company, WAPCO, for the maintenance of the critical gas pipeline connecting Nigeria to Ghana.
Right now, we are still working to get commitment, but there is a possibility of a slight deferral. It won't be the full month, but we're looking at up to potentially 2 weeks deferral in the start of the operation.
The gas pipeline, a lifeline for Ghana's electricity supply, was initially slated for maintenance on January 20. However, with the clock ticking down, the government is faced with a daunting challenge, procuring and processing crude oil within an impossibly short time frame. The standard 8-week procurement and processing period seemed like an insurmountable hurdle, leaving the nation on a brink of a potential energy crisis. And so government's agreement with WAPCO to postpone the maintenance will provide a breathing space. However, it remains to be seen whether government can procure the necessary crude oil within this extended time frame. President John Dramani Mahama, however, promises to keep the lights on.
There's a threat of power outages. But my brothers and sisters, don't despair. Like I said, you elected us to solve the problems, not to put the blame on anybody else. We would make sure that your lights stay on and that we do not have doomso, as you popularly call it.
But whilst this matter is still in contention, there lies an even bigger challenge. Ghana's electricity generation capacity is facing an unprecedented test, with the country's reliance on thermal energy or power set to increase exponentially. Currently, Ghana's hydroelectric power output, sourced mainly from the Akosobo and Bui dams, has been reduced in order to avert another spillage. This leaves thermal power as the primary source of electricity. However, with the gas pipeline maintenance yet to occur and the previous government's failure to procure crude oil, there's certainly a looming crisis. To compound matters, Ghana's energy demand is projected to skyrocket in 2025, with the Energy Commission forecasting a requirement of 16,997 gigawatts hour of thermal power. This represents a significant increase from the 14,524 gigawatts provided in 2024 and the 14,199 in 2023. Clearly, the country's energy ministry is at a crossroads, and as government scrambles to find a solution, the nation holds its breath. Will this administration be able to navigate this treacherous energy landscape and find a lasting solution to Ghana's power generation woes? Only time will tell. Judith Brown.
And of course, let's head over to Parliament, where the Speaker of Parliament, Alba Sumana Kingsford Babing, is orienting new members of Parliament for different constituencies.
Your election as members of Parliament presents you with the opportunity to contribute meaningfully to the quality of lives of Ghanaians and the development of Ghana as a country. This is an onerous responsibility, difficult to fulfill. It demands a lot of attention and sacrifice. Sacrifice of oneself and family, but is always also rewarding, not materially, but in reputation and dignity. This orientation is to also give you a good beginning, a solid foundation, and a dependable ladder to climb. So I urge you, as others have done, to pay attention and take advantage of it. This is the first opportunity to also let you break the ice. You've already been told you have to make new friends and build a parliamentary family. Surprising, some of you might have heard, and you may think that it's rumor. It's not rumor. There are some parliaments where we have real lovers from different sides of the house moving together. It's true. I led them here. I know them. I spoke to them. Yeah, whatever you do here, you can't escape my vigilant eyes. And any of you who wants to test me one day, and I'll tell you where you went last night. Don't be surprised, because and I've moved around, and so many people know me. And you don't move alone. You live in a society, and those you interact with, they interact with me. So wherever you go, you do something, they'll call me and say, "Oh, your MP was here, and that's what is that happened? Which MP?" Then they mention the name. So I get to know. And my staff will tell you sometimes how I surprise them with some revelations. So please, I'm very, very vigilant person, very watchful. I may not be looking at you, but I'll be seeing you. So please try and make new friends and build a parliamentary family. You will depend on each other even after here. So it's very, very important to do so. Your political differences notwithstanding, your future depends on how you build new bridges here and how you conduct your life as a leader of your people. I was with John Kerry when he was contesting to be the President of the United States, because we were together as members of the Parliamentarians for Global Action. His wife was in the Republican Party.
Ewie enti abusunya wei ensema itimi egada ye de besumwo na mamenka ye papa Yana no Otumfour deɛ no. Pia batabo. Twa na. Oka ne bibra. Ahwe na wanya asɛm. Because oka ne bibra na nkɔfa afrɛ. Mmea meti ha yi. Asante o ka asante a sebi yɛntɛn asante fo ina asante achim bono akan hwane fante ga ayigwe yina nipa baako. We are all one people. Said the lucky to be kind of different colors. Namu one people by the kwa different colors in blacks. Ye blacks. So we are all one people. One people, different colors, one people, different tribes, different origin, different trees, different languages. In fact, one people, different dress, different culture, one people. Inti nana, sebi nana. Ukasa wanyate, yenu nyadwin. Yewura John de Mani Mahama bedi so. Unyenya even 1 month kama akoka say oh politicians dey mhwene Mahama na on fast something kind of mumu. In fact, and no crown you don't have that. You don't have that right to nana say it as early as that. Uhweni pana ekon wenyi ana uhu asantemai empuntu bia wa shase yen. Then you voice out but you bisa say sit down na opu. Nana Akufo-Addo tia ban nana wankasa. These are the problems that some of us you catch you. Nana tia ban wankasa na say Nana Akufo-Addo tia ban wankasa na say John de Mani Mahama ba okasa yemfa ho nchew. I'm telling you, that is the fact. Yes, we kasa akwa mbu ade oti social media na okeka nsɛmfo. Sebi. Me say ka odi ko ono anso e no de ba. Say yeah, ya bomodin di John de Mani Mahama aba power. Na papa no so sebi wetie futuo na o se Ghana. We won't allow anybody to destroy him. We won't allow anybody to criticize him where what unnecessary. Papa, Nana, Otumfour, me to so na masori. But in some kind of sebi, papa munsem, a worst of what discrimination. Worst of what discrimination. A discriminatory words in a Rusuyan. Unji politicians in since when said the chairman Freeman Ebisam, since when and a won't say unji politicians in and a 1 man bontianka and a watching John de Mani Mahama Abba Abe president answer. Oh papa, nana. Sometimes you could be an only cases, ya, aquani mwadeo, aquani yes, you see, some of us sometimes I haven't seen you. Minjaka etini tintini titi na nsenana sasem ne de bubini yeni nje ho and it is not good for you to say that ebasa wo titim because government so ba abonti ka say oh miso menji yempanfo ndi enti miso me project me de me pair and doma hene so ba abonti ka say miso menji project to go afete ya na Boku Naba and all those ahimfa kese no wunna sorry no mo kasa nsemo na okan ya ka ubi Ghana na wahimfa sometimes aya ni mebu ho no ma sebi mo yem panfo nti aya ye kan intimi nkan kese but this time around we'll be play with John Mahama no. In fact we will play with you because papa no waba in the good faith. Oba unyenya a week adwuma wo ye no enya adwuma ketwa se sa na Akufo-Addo ni nkofo ye yanka Ghana nti say nti some people who are criticizing him unnecessarily you people should relax, take your time and criticize him. And yes you mu bi no mo enche ni wo social media we so obeka wa asem wo ba bi we so betena ha so ebeka asem it will take you on. That is the fact. Nti yesre nana badawroma ya do pa inyo so doye same way there oma ya bodjo so yesra wada ya bu enye de enjo so nti ko na sambra bio ura John de Mani Mahama Yankase obi an criticize no, but criticize him where necessary. Fain na wabeji akundwa when you kura nyamba. So how can you tell say kunje politicians ni? No, even Mahama Tiso, a duo yedima santimani. Anyway, so that is another topic for discussion. It's another topic for another day. Me for the producer or United States of America, New York, Yankupon Shame Mame. Mame will be UK, Yankupon Shame Mame. Obi bia hwe begeti in fact I salute you Yankupon Eshisha papa and your baby am support am my platform we so abusia yɛda yɛkɔso yɛ no pitiri ma memfa wo si ɔbaa de ne adoma bɛsɛn ahyia medi ano mɛga subscribe fa comment tom like dwuma de share na foforɔ ne bihwɛ makraw bye bye